Hi everyone, Miss Andronicus here, and today we are looking at the general equation of a straight line. That very simply answered is this. The general equation of a straight line is y equals mx plus c. Now, just like the ax plus by equals c type of equation, y still pertains to the y-axis, x is the x-axis. Okay, I'll explain a little bit more about m and c in a moment. So here's an example, graphing a line in the form of y equals mx plus c. There's the question, draw this graph. Now, here are your steps on the right. Draw a table of values, and here is just substitution for x and y, okay? So if I choose any numbers for x, I can choose 1, 2, and 3, nice and simple. I substitute each one into the x position to calculate y. So I'll do the full workings for the first one. So y equals 2 multiplied by 1 plus 4. Y equals 2 plus 4, y equals 6. Okay, so the next one, I can do the same thing. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 4 is 8. The next one, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10. Okay, 6, 8, 10. That's my check. I need to make sure that that is going up evenly in even increments, otherwise it wouldn't be a linear pattern, linear graph. So tick, that's done. Now I have a set of coordinates. So remember, there's my x and there's my y, and I can actually write or list those coordinates out for me if it's easier. Okay, so now to plot them on a Cartesian plane. Okay, so here that has been done for you. So you can see the 3 points drawn here, and they've been drawn or joined by a nice straight line as well. Please make sure that that straight line is as big as possible, as big as your graph allows. At the very least, you need to make sure that you cut both axes. That's very, very important. And that's it. Make sure that once you do plot it, always remember to go back to that original equation, and anywhere along the line, label your line. Okay, anywhere along the line, label it. The last thing that you can check is, of course, your gradient. So I'm just going to draw your attention to the gradient. So I'm going to choose any of these points. I know that these points are exact because I just plotted them. So if I choose this point, I can see my rise is 2 if I do those jumps, and my run is 1. Okay, if I look at that triangle there, my rise is 2 and my run is 1. So if I look at that, I can say my gradient, my rise is 2, my run is 1. So my gradient is just 2. Now when I look at this equation, y equals 2x plus 4, there's a couple of things that I want you to notice. This number here before the x matches the gradient. Can you see anywhere anything to do with a positive 4 in this line? I hope that perhaps you have noticed something. If you look carefully and draw your line perfectly exact, you can see that actually at positive 4 is exactly where that graph crosses the y-axis. So that is what we call intercept. It intercepts the y-axis. So it cuts it, it crosses the y-axis. That is not an accident, okay? So if you have a look at this rule down here, I have outlined it for you. Y is always the y coordinate, equals the x is the x coordinate. The m in y equals mx plus c is always the gradient. That m is going to be negative for a negative gradient or positive for a positive gradient. And you can see that in this example up here. It's a positive line, positive gradient, positive 2. Okay. have a look down here again. We've got the y-intercept plus c, or if it intercepts the y at a negative number, then that's going to be subtract something. So if, for example, our graph up here, if this, for example, had crossed somewhere like down here at -6, then it would be y equals 2x, because the gradient is still rise over run. If it's at the same angle, then it's still positive, but it crosses at, let's say, -4, or in this case, it would be -6 in the example that I just drew. So you can actually start to graph straight lines without even the table of values if you are able to accurately know where it intercepts the y-axis and the slope of your line. Okay, to be super accurate though, you need a minimum of 2 or 3 points just to be able to check that you've calculated correctly to graph your straight line. And please keep in mind this down here, y equals mx plus c. M being the gradient, the plus c is the y-intercept. Okay, don't forget that. Have a go, guys.